I think one of the most difficult things for entrepreneurs to do is every time you invent yourself, you have to let go of something. Example, I was a copywriter in my 20s, right? And I had a decent career, making good income, very good income as early 20-something years old. And I had to switch and say, you know what, maybe I want to do something else. And I basically let go of all my clients. And I just did the next thing. That is very, very hard.
Ooh,
right?
It is hard.
When you have something that's working, like we have something that doesn't work, it's easy to let go.
Right.
When you have something that's working, then how did it go to the next level, right? And then I did it, and then every time I found that when I did that, my career goes to the next level, and the next level, and the next level, and the next level.
Well, and that's such a great point and a very valuable lesson, because you were, again, willing to take the risk. You looked at the long game, because it's all about the long game, instead of playing the short game, playing those gains that you kept having. Because one thing we can't manufacture is time. So if your brain is occupied on what's working, but not what could be, then where are you going to have the time to do the other?
Like the way that my mind works, like say when I have something that's working, most people would be thinking, oh, this is good, yeah, let it just keep running. No, I'm thinking, what's going to put me out of business? That's what goes through my mind. What's going to put me, and then I would think about how can I structure something so I put myself out of business first.
Right.
So this thing would die and this new thing will be born. That's how I've always done it.
And that's so smart, and too bad the networks didn't have you working for them because they weren't thinking that way. And that's what happens. And in business, this is something people have to really be aware of. To be flexible, to look at the next thing, to really look at the trends, to figure it out for yourself. Here's a great example, and you know this, blockchain technology, just blockchain in general, but if you look at the technology part is brilliant. And that if you're an early adopter, how valuable will that be for you? If you wait, you're going to be left behind.
That's correct. And people don't understand, and they think, oh yeah, it's not, somehow they think, oh, it's not going to happen to me, right? Or, oh, it's not going to happen, like even Blockbuster back then, I think they're thinking, oh, it's not going to happen like 20 years, 30 years, right?
Right.
And when it happens so fast, right?
It does. Another great example, if we went old school, would be Kodak. Kodak owned the landscape. I mean, everywhere. I even can visualize, remember the cameras, the throwaway cameras that they had? And they had the technology too. They had developed the digital cards, so they could have run with it, but the same thing, they said nobody cares. This is what we specialize in, we own this lane, and I think that's something people have to be careful of. I like Jay Papasan's book, The One Thing. What's the one thing? But I think you can have multiple lanes, and that sometimes you have to be careful that you want them to intersect, but if you just sometimes focus on the one thing and you don't look forward, and you're not forward thinking, and you're looking at trends, and you could get trapped into, I own this. This is my baby. This is my technology. This is my thought. It's not going to go away. We're just going to keep babying it and growing it. But what happens with the world we live in now when it's obsolete?
And isn't it true, I think in some way, I think they fall in love with their products. They fall in love with, this is the widget that we sell, versus fall in love with the customers, where what are their needs, right? If you think about all these companies, the mistake that they make, oh, this is what we do. I don't care what the consumers want. This is what we do. Versus, no, the consumers kind of want this. They don't want to drive to the store. They don't want to wait 2 days for the movie, right? They want to watch it. They want to watch it now. It's more convenient to do that. They would want that, right? And it's the same idea. If they would have seen that,
right, what problem do you solve? What's the pain point? If you're not, in any business, if you're not doing that, you really have to be customer-centric. If you're not thinking, what do people want, then you're just looking in the mirror at yourself.
That's right.
And the mirror cracks.
And we are not our own customers.
No.
We are not our own customers. Talk to us more about within the book. What else do you talk about in the book?
So in the book, I also talk about my speaking career, how I launched that, and I talk about the wow. So how do you clearly, confidently, like I mentioned before, concisely describe who you are? And the wow is there a
formula?
Yeah, there's a formula. One of the things that you do to find out the wow is it's perfect time for this because you just mentioned it. What do people want? What do you have that they want? And what happens is we're in silos. So we have a card that describes what we do, and we're a lawyer, we're an entrepreneur, we're a whatever we are, we're a chef, but that doesn't tell anybody anything about your background. Like you've made 1,000 meatloafs 20,000 different ways, or whatever it might be. So to find out the wow, one of the things you do is ask all the people around you, what do you think I do? Including kids, including neighbors, including people that you've met. And
how they see us.
Exactly. Okay. How do they see you? And tell them to tell it to you, to send you an email or to write it down or whatever it is, so that you can see and put all those words together. And I challenge anyone to have the exact map of what you think you are versus all these people around you. And you got to do at least 20 people. And you'll see that you're not as clear as you think you are on what your unique selling proposition, if you want to use the proper word, your unique selling proposition is. So what is that? What is that wow? What is the value you give? And often it's a number. You said it when you, Dan, when you introduced me. So 15, 16, 17,000 interviews. You get, that's a huge number, and it's a true number. I mean, it could even be more than that, but it's a big number. And I mentioned 500 plus rejections before I got into the locker room and I could do sports. That's another big number. People in business have lots of big numbers, what they've delivered, how much money their company has made of every quarter. What is it that you're using as your measuring stick? Often that's what your wow is. So a wow is a what or a who. I would say for you, maybe initially you were a what, but now you're a who, because we talked about this off camera where you were saying that now people are recognizing you. So you're you could say you're a celebrity. And I would say I'm sort of a celebrity in some cases. 100%. And I wasn't that way in the beginning. So it was more, I was a what I was doing,
this
how many
is what
times.
I do.
This is what I do. And so there's different celebrities are who's, like a Lady Gaga, somebody like that, a president, whoever it is. But you might be a who as a who in your market. So you might be the rock star in Atlanta, Dallas.
The expert in this field, right?
And people do in your field know you. But you're not that expert, or you're an expert, but you're not as known
not
outside.
As not as mainstream.
Yeah, not as mainstream. So it's important to know that and know where you want to go. If you want to grow your authority or your celebrity, whatever you call it, then you need to work on that. You need to use social media. You need to use the different avenues to grow your visibility. And I talk about that. How do you become buzzworthy? How do people start to talk about you? How do you get more visibility? Because we have a world where the attention span is 8, 7, some say 7, 8, we'll split the difference. It's less than 10 seconds for our initial attention span. And then we have 50,000 to 70,000 thoughts in our mind all day long.
Every day.
So how do you break through and get people to recognize you, remember you, download your podcast, pay attention to your content, that kind of thing?
I think now, even in my career, I can see why I have heavily invested my time, effort in social media, because what I see is now the most valuable currency is actually not dollars, it's attention. Right? Because you can always convert attention into revenue, into income, into whatever you do. But when you have dollars, if you're not getting attention, as a company, if a product or service, you're not getting attention, you're not getting customers, you're not getting sales, right?
Right.
And I think, at least for me, my career shifted when I went from this is my company, this is what I do, versus this is who I am. When I shifted, then it just skyrocketed, right? And then what I do, it's just part of me, right? And I think most entrepreneurs, and that's I think one piece of advice I give you is, I think most of them, they spend way too much time working on the what and not spend enough time working on the who.
Absolutely, I completely agree.
Because what you do could change.
Right.
What you offer today, maybe Kate, you're offering speaking service, next year you want to offer other services, right? But they're still buying you, right?
Right.
People buy people. Versus, this is all I do. I only coach and consultant on this. Well, what if this thing changed? Then what do you do, right?
I agree. A meeting, I think this is the best compliment, Dan, I ever got. I came off of a stage once and a meeting planner said to me, Simon Sinek is the why, you're the wow.
Oh.
Because the people in the audience didn't understand they needed a wow.
Yes.
That it was about them, but it was about what's the wow? Why do people care? And that wow can change. And you said it, I'm the queen of reinvention. That's exactly what's happened to me, just like your journey. And I realized that's what it's about. And I can see that from postings, because what do people want from me in postings?
Yes.
And you can tell by looking at those measurements what people are looking at you for. And I agree with you. If you capture that social media, whatever it is, and by the way, it could be LinkedIn, because LinkedIn's powerful too, or Instagram or Twitter or your podcast or YouTube or whatever it might be. But the dollars will follow that. And whatever it is that you do, whether it's speaking, product, seminars, webinars, retreats, whatever you might have, a system, people will buy that because they trust you, they like you.
Correct. And then now even companies, bigger companies, organizations, they know now that's why they want to partner with influencers. Right? They have to influence, called influencer marketing, right? Where they know, we could advertise, but why not go to someone that already has an audience that like and know and trust them, and actually have them do a collaboration, do an endorsement. It's a much more effective way to go. And then they can go into a lot of these niche market, right? Just like the YouTube kid who makes like 22 million a year.
Oh yeah,
right?
I just saw him.
The toy review, right? Like, why? Because he's got the audience that the company wants. Versus, well, they can run ads on TV, but why not just go directly to the source? That kids are watching this channel, unboxing or reviewing toys if they want to sell more toys, and there you go, right?
And it completely makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you said it, he's got the audience, that's where they're going to go, and that's where they're going to buy. And I call it story selling too.
Yes.
So it's story selling.
Yes.
What is it that you have that needs to be whether it's clients, maybe it's the success you've had through incredible clients, something they've done. Tell the story. We want the story now.
Yes.
More than even product placement is good, and that works, but also selling it is really, really big, and that's why he's successful.
It's true. It almost reminds me of the Dove video viral campaign.
Oh yeah, and it was big.
Right? Remember? It's not so much about. I mean, you think about the product. It's soap. Like it doesn't.
It's soap.
It's not like but it's soap. It's not that like the most exciting thing in the world. But Dove understands the emotions. Right, the beauty, the inner beauty, all of that, and they take it and they take a stand, right? They take a stance, and plus the story,
right? It's the story,
and I love how they tell stories through the customers, right? Not Dove, our company history, story, how we make the soap. It's not about that. In fact, you watch the video, if you watch that again on YouTube, it's not about Dove. It's like at the very end, right? But it's about the story from beginning. That's the difficult part, though.
Oh yeah, if you watch the Super Bowl, for example, people are paying, or companies are paying, and now it's up to $5 million for 30 seconds. And that there's incredible pressure. Why? Because it is about the story selling, and the product is just sort of there in the background. And the better they are, and the better the ad agency or whoever it is that puts them together, the better they are, the better the metrics, and